So this vehicle is the newer model Camaro. It's 2015, I think. He smacked the curb on this side, on the driver and the passenger side, or the passenger side rear and the front. Bent the, I don't even remember what this part is called, to be honest with you. It doesn't say it on the paper, but he ended up buying all of this stuff from somewhere online. Got the inner and outer tie rod in for the passenger front, the sway bar link. This, he bought the lower control arm, which the lower control arm's not bad on this one, but he wanted to be safe than sorry. So what I'm doing right now is gaining access to everything. I've already taken this one off, which is here. It's supposed to be straight, not bent. And if I'm not mistaken, it's set in there just like so. And this one, of course, you can see it's straight. So in order to gain access to all of the bolts, you have to take a couple things out of the way in order to get to it. I've taken the upper control arm loose. It's not all the way out, but it is loose, and that bolt still won't go in. So I took the lower, I'm gonna assume this is like a drag bar or sway bar, or not a sway bar, but a track bar. So I don't know exactly what the name of it is, but I've taken it loose. Currently taking the strut out because I need to get to the sway bar link nut. My wrench won't spin it fast enough. I've taken the bottom bolt out here for the lower control arm. Most of this is 18. The bigger bolts that mount to the frame are 21. And I believe that bolt that's inside there, I don't know if you can see that through the video or not, but that bolt is a 22. Both of these are 21. You can't get an impact in there unless you've got a 2-foot long extension. This is an 18. These for the strut mount are 15s. I'm going to take this completely out, that way I can get my impact into that nut there. I don't have a way of holding my phone up right now, so please forgive me because I will be setting it down often. So I have 4 bolts on the strut mount up here, 2 on one side, 2 on the other. I've taken one out. You can see the other one right about there. The bottom bolt is out. It is an 18 millimeter. This nut right here is a 15 millimeter. And considering the fact that nothing ever stays still on sway bar links because it doesn't really need to spin or have tension when it spins, it spins. So I'll remove the strut, I'll remove that nut there, and then I'll be able to take the back bolt out for the lower control arm and replace it with a new one. Give me just a second, I'll pause and then come back to the video. Alright, I had to take a step back here and figure out what my next move was. So without being able to get this one out, the lower control arm doesn't drop down low enough to be able to get the strut out. So I took the top sway bar link loose, and it uses a 5 millimeter Allen, which this one's pretty rusty, but it still goes in. And then a 15 millimeter gear wrench over the top of it, just like so. This has to be in tighten, well, this is in loose, to be able to get it out of there. And as you can see, the nut is officially off. I have to raise this corner up just a little bit to be able to take the pressure off of the bolt there, and it will come right out. Drop the lower control arm down, get the strut put back into place, since obviously it wasn't needed to come out, and then put the new lower control arm in. Now you can see everything is out. I'll put the strut back in place. I used one of the scissor jacks to put pressure up. Use my bar, went in here, there's a flat plate back there a little ways. Pry down on the sway bar, pull the sway bar link out. Now once I get this off, I'll put the bottom back into the new lower control arm, and then put the top back in place. Alright, the strut is officially remounted, and I see that I'm probably going to have a little bit of an issue here putting it back together on the lower control arm, so that strut will have to be pushed towards the center of the vehicle in order to get it to pass the bracket, or I can put this behind there first and then put it in its home. Alright, it took a little bit of finagling, but I got it in there. I had to put it inside of here first, shove it in back there, and then it just popped right into place. And you can see the sway bar link is in its home, tightened all the way down, so I don't have to fight with this nut and bolt here. I'll go ahead and put the back one in back there, and then I think I'm probably going to drop this down, or no, I'll put the strut in place first after putting that one in, and then jack this up into place, since that's the direction it'll have to go. Then I'll put the sway bar link in. What you see there, it's 1.5 inches off. I will be back momentarily. Alright, she's put back together. The only thing that's tight is this bolt here, because there is no adjustment on it. I left that bolt loose. This bolt I haven't put all the way on yet. I do have the nut on there. I had to take it back off because I had one bolt in the wrong place. So I was trying to put that bolt into this hole. This hole is much smaller. So I had to manipulate the metal and push it back in, because this bolt right here being bigger than this bolt, it opened it up a bit. The upper control arm is still loose. These are all still loose. There is adjustment back there, but there's no adjustment here. So with the vehicle suspension pushed up, I'm going to tighten this outer one up, and then try to do the semi-alignment on this one while it's compressed. And in order to do that, main thing I'm looking for is toe. And if you look straight down the fender here, you can see that the camber has it pulled in quite a bit. There is adjustment on that bottom one down there, and then a slight toe in on the front. What I'll do to be able to mitigate that is to tighten this bolt here, adjust that one slightly to where it's facing outward, and then adjust this one to where it pulls it in, and then tighten everything down. Of course, with these bolts here, the tie rod bolt there, and then the camber bolt here, you want to do minimal adjustments. That way it can make its way to the alignment shop. Essentially what you're wanting is the wheel to run straight when the pressure is put on the vehicle. Granted, I have this corner jacked up with a scissor jack. It's not going to be towed in that much, so I may just put that one back into its original home and do the same with this one, and see if when I put the wheel on it and drop it back down, it is aligned. If it's not, it's not that big of a deal to reach up inside of there with it sitting on the ground and do a slight adjustment. Remember though, these are 21. This is a 21 and a 22. Pretty much it right now until I get to the front. The front has a couple bent parts too, so I will do that video after. Thanks for watching.